Now, from Wish TV, this is The Zone Extra, presented by Franciscan Health Sports Medicine. Coming up tonight, the busy winter sports calendar kicks into high gear. In the Coach's Corner, we're joined by the man in charge of a top 5 boys basketball team at Westfield. Plus, our athlete of the week just helped lead Center Grove to a regional championship.
Center Grove girls basketball hasn't been this day in a while, so that would just be huge, and our team would love it.
Everyone is fired up for a new Zone Extra right now.
We are fired up too. Good evening and welcome to the Zone Extra. I'm Andrew Chernoff. What a great week of high school sports with swimming state finals, along with postseason action on both the mat and the hardwood. In the Coach's Corner, his Rocks are a top 5 boys basketball team in the state. Westfield head coach Shane Sumter is here in studio to chat about his team's impressive season. Plus, our athlete of the week set a program record for the most assists in a season and is a key piece for the second-ranked team in the state. We'll introduce you to Center Grove junior Lily Bischoff. And we go on campus with the IU men's basketball team to catch up with former Bloomington South star and Indiana Mr. Basketball Anthony Leal. Now, let's take a look back at the week in high school sports. Last Saturday was the regional round of the girls basketball state tournament. In Class 4A at Decatur Central, Plainfield took on Pike. At the end of it all, it was the Quakers who moved on after getting a 5-point victory. Meanwhile, in Bedford, Center Grove battled last year's 4A state champion, Bedford North Lawrence. This game all Trojans as they got a 21-point victory. In Class 3A, congrats to Danville as the Warriors win their first regional title in 6 seasons with a dominating victory over Speedway. They'll take on Bishop Chatard in semi-state on Saturday. In the 4A regional at Marion, Noblesville faced 4th-ranked Snyder in a rematch of a December contest. Fourth quarter, Noblesville's Reagan Wilson from behind the arc. That 3 ties the game. Later, Panthers back in front, but Noblesville has an answer. Meredith Tipner. She's done that all year. They're driving the score. She had 19 points. We're tied again. Final seconds, Millers lead by 3. Snyder looking for the tie. Jordan Poole off the mark right there. Noblesville advances to semi-state with the 43-40 victory. Also in Class 4A, it was Mount Vernon taking on number 1 Lawrence Central. Third quarter, LC's Lola Lampley finds Anaya McKenzie for 2. Bears leading by 21. It was all LC. 10 seconds left in the third. Ball stolen by Mariah Kenter-Garrett. Then it's Katie Castro who caps it off with the basket and the foul. The Bears win their first ever regional championship, taking it 58-30.
We talk about playing like champions. We talk about playing like a number 1 team, 1% better every day. Now it's time for your best, because there is no tomorrow, literally. And we just wanted to come out, give our best effort, be our best version of ourselves, and I thought we did that today.
The road's not over. We're not finished yet, but we're going to continue to stay humble, come into every game like it's every other game. We've worked for this. We're going to continue working. Don't take no games lightly, but we're still coming. The mission's not over with.
That is a good basketball team. Let's talk boys hoops, where the end of the regular season is quickly approaching. In fact, teams will learn their postseason paths this weekend as the sectional draw takes place on Sunday. Meanwhile, we saw a lot of great action on the hardwood last Friday night. In the Hoosier Crossroads, Noblesville went on the road and picked up a 4-point win over Brownsburg. In the MIC, Ben Davis visited Lawrence North in a top 10 matchup. It was the Giants that got an impressive road victory. At HSC, the Royals defended their home court with a 6-point victory over Carmel. And at Fishers, it was another top 10 matchup as the top-ranked Tigers hosted Cathedral. This also was a fun game. Fishers ultimately getting the 5-point win. The Tigers are now 20-1 on the season. With last week's results, here is this week's Class 4A poll in boys basketball. Fishers is number 1, Noblesville number 2, Westfield is third, followed by Lawrence North and Kokomo. To the pool, where last weekend was the girls swimming state finals. Action began Friday evening and continued into Saturday at the IU Natatorium. And for the 38th consecutive year, Carmel won the girls team championship, extending its own national record. The Hounds won 8 of the 12 events on Saturday, including 2 of the 3 relays. Penn was the runner-up, and Fishers finished third. For Carmel, junior Alex Shackle and sophomore Molly Sweeney each won 4 different events, 2 individually and 2 as part of relay teams. Congrats to all the swimmers who made state last weekend. And last Saturday was also the semi-state round of the boys wrestling tournament at 4 different sites across the state. In Newcastle, congrats to Warren Central as the Warriors won the team semi-state title ahead of runner-up Cathedral. Warren wrestlers took home 5 individual semi-state championships and advanced a total of 6 wrestlers to state. Meanwhile, in Evansville, it was Brownsburg narrowly finishing ahead of Center Grove for the team semi-state title. State finals begins at the Ford Center in Evansville tomorrow and runs through Saturday. Time for a break, but we have much more ahead on the Zone Extra. Up next, it's the Coach's Corner. There he is. His Rocks are the 3rd-ranked team in the state. We chat with Westfield boys basketball head coach Shane Sumter. And still ahead, she's a key piece of a Trojans girls basketball team as it prepares for semi-state this weekend. We'll introduce you to our Athlete of the Week from Center Grove.
This is the Zone Extra, presented by Franciscan Health Sports Medicine. This is the Zone Extra Coach's Corner.
Well, welcome back to the Zone Extra. Time now for our Coach's Corner. His Shamrocks are currently 17-2 on the season and are the 3rd-ranked team in the state. Let's welcome to the show Westfield boys basketball head coach Shane Sumter.
Shane, thank you for having me.
Anytime.
Yeah, yes, thank you.
Thanks for coming in studio. Okay, we're in mid-February.
Yeah.
Your team only has 2 losses so far.
Yeah.
What's been clicking?
Well, we've played a lot of good basketball. You know, it's kind of started off the beginning of the year. We had a big win at Kokomo, and you know, our goal is to kind of continue to get better each and every game, and certainly want to be playing our best basketball here at tournament time. But our guys have really meshed well. They care about each other. It's one of those teams where we have a lot of balance, and nobody cares who gets the credit. It seems to be a different guy every night. You know, it obviously starts with Trey Buchanan. You know, our senior point guard, he had 28 last night. Nick Book inside, but there's a lot of different nights. It could be certainly a different guy, and we have a lot of balance. And I think that's one of the things that makes this team special. And we certainly take a lot of pride on the defensive end as well.
You mentioned those guys, Nick Book, Trey Buchanan, that senior class. What is it that group of seniors does for everyone else on this roster?
Well, they make everybody better. You know, Trey's a kid that, you know, he's played varsity basketball for us since he's been a sophomore, and he played behind a guy named Braden Smith his sophomore year, so that didn't help. And I kept telling him that, you know, what a luxury it is for you to learn as a sophomore. But those guys, they're just such team guys. Again, they don't care who gets the credit. They share the ball. They make everybody better. And I just think that's one of the things that makes this team special.
For you, this is your 9th year, I believe, at Westfield.
It is, yeah.
Which is
as the boys coach, yeah.
Right, which is crazy just how quickly, I guess, time flies.
Yeah.
How have you changed, do you think, as a coach from that first day that you took over this program?
Well, I think you learn, you know, every team's different, but I think that you learn and you get better every single year, and we've done that. You know, when I took over the job, you know, we had to build a tradition at Westfield, and the kids have really bought in from day one. And, you know, as a coach, you never stop learning. You know, you try to adapt, and but it's been a special group, and it's been a special year so far.
You guys were 16-8 last year, and just even looking back at the record, 5 of those games were tight games. Is there anything that you guys took away from those close games that clearly you're utilizing this year?
I just think the experience of being in those close games. You know, we've been in a lot of close games. We won some overtime games, and I just think that experience that you gain from being in those close games certainly helps. I mean, you don't want to win every game by a big margin, but we've certainly been in a lot of close ones. We lost a tough close one to Fishers last week, but you know, we've had several games where in the fourth quarter we've had to make a lot of plays. And I certainly think in tournament time that's going to help. You know, when you look at our sectional, it seems like every game will come, you know, seems to come right down to the wire. So, you know, being in those close games really is a big benefit.
Couple more games left in the regular season, but I want to look ahead at these teams that are going to be in your sectional. And you know, year in and year out, this list is just brutal. You've got Carmel, Westfield, obviously that's you guys, Noblesville, Zionsville, HSE, and Fishers. When you see a list like that and you start looking at just the big picture of the polls, what goes through your mind?
Well, you know, the new polls came out yesterday, and 1, 2, and 3 in our sectional. You know, you can pick an order. You know, Fisher's ranked number 1, Noblesville's number 2, we're number 3. You know, Carmel's playing some great basketball. They've knocked off Fisher's. They've knocked off Lawrence North. You can never count out them. They're very well coached. They're a good basketball program. Zionsville, HSE had a big win the other night. So, you know, everybody always asks me about the draw. It's like, I don't know that it matters. I mean, you'd love to have the bye because it's one less game that you have to play. But there's no easy draw in Sectional A, and I'm a little biased, but I think it's the toughest Sectional 4A state in the state, and certainly the polls don't indicate any different. You know, the polls only mean so much. You know, as Indiana, everybody's 0-0, and it's a blind draw. But you got to bring your best every night in the sectional, or you'll be one and done.
Well, one guy who is bringing his best every single game this year at the college level, you mentioned him earlier, Braden Smith, former Westfield basketball star for the Shamrocks. What has it been like for you, and I know you've seen him play quite a bit this year, what's it like for you to see him find this amount of success?
Such a joy. You know, I've known Braden Smith since, and their family since I've been 5 years old, and watched him growing up. You knew he was going to be good in 5th and 6th grade, and you just didn't know how good. And you know, Braden's one of those kids that's always played with his chip on his shoulder. In high school, he did. He started as a freshman, and then when he even got to Purdue, I think people had doubts. Can he play as a freshman at Purdue? And I said, well, I bet he starts, and he'll do this. And he's just continued to get better and prove the doubters wrong even this year. And he's certainly one of the best point guards in the country, playing on arguably the best team in the country.
The thing, too, even you mentioned the chip on his shoulder. I know we've talked to him just in post-game press conferences. He did not make that finalist list for the Bob Cousy Award. I think anyone who watches the game realizes he should have been on that list for sure.
Without question. Yeah, that was maybe one of those things you don't pay much. Coach Painter had a pretty interesting quote about that, about being similar to the Indiana draw, just picking names out of a hat. But I think anybody that knows basketball would know that Braden Smith should have been in that category.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Shane Sumter, appreciate the time, my friend.
Well, thank you for having me.
Anytime.
Yes,
best of luck the rest of the way as well.
Thank you so much.
It is a fun basketball team to watch. Still ahead on the Zone Extra, it's our Athlete of the Week. She's a key reason why second-ranked Center Grove is a regional champ. Up next, meet Trojans junior point guard Lily Bischoff. Plus, we go on campus to Bloomington at IU, where we catch up with former Indiana basketball Anthony Leal.
This is the Zone Extra, presented by Franciscan Health Sports Medicine.
Welcome back to the Zone Extra. As you saw earlier in the show, the second-ranked Center Grove girls basketball team is a regional champion. The Trojans improved to 26-1 on the season, knocking off defending 4A champ Bedford North Lawrence to advance to this weekend's semi-state. A key reason for the Center Grove's Trojan success, the play of junior point guard Lily Bischoff. In Saturday's regional victory, Bischoff led the Trojans in scoring with 18 points. This season, she's averaging 11 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, and 2 steals per game. In fact, she is rewriting the history books as well, also setting the program's all-time single-season assist record this year. Bischoff says the Trojans are excited for the chance to make it to the state championship game for the first time in 28 years.
And that just means so much to our team and our program and this community. I mean, Center Grove girls basketball hasn't been to stay in a while, so I mean that would just be huge, and I mean our team would love it. I mean I feel like it's been a dream of all of ours since we were little.
She's just a playmaker that can go get her own shot, but obviously hates to lose enough and so unselfish with her other teammates that she's willing to just make the right play at the right time. If that means going to score a basket, she'll go do that. If that means making a play to get one of her shooters open, she makes the play on time when she needs to.
I think the biggest difference from last year to this year is just stepping up and being the starting point guard. I mean, last year I didn't start. I mean, I kind of went from the 1 to the 3. But yeah, I think being the starting point guard this year has really helped me step up my game. You know, I feel like all of us are really best friends, so I think that really helps, just being a leader.
She's tough. She's willing to do what it takes to be successful, if that's in the classroom or on the basketball floor. But she's going to do it the right way, and then as soon as you cross those lines and you're off the basketball floor, she's just such an incredible human being.
Being more of a leader, you know, I feel like I've really done a good job this year, but, you know, next year I'm going to have to take a bigger step because we're not going to have many seniors next year.
Time for a break. We've got a lot more to come here on the Zone Extra, including the latest installment of Ask the Commissioner with that man, Paul Neidig of the IHSAA.
This is the Zone Extra, presented by Franciscan Health Sports Medicine.
Welcome back to the Zone Extra. Now it's time to go on campus where we catch up with a former Central Indiana high school athlete as he or she competes at the collegiate level. This week, we go to Bloomington and check in with the IU men's basketball team. It was a special night for senior guard Anthony Leal 2 weeks ago inside Assembly Hall. Leal came off the bench to score a career-high 13 points in a conference win over Iowa. During the victory, he was 3 of 4 from downtown and also hauled in 7 boards. The Bloomington South grad was Indiana's 2020 Mr. Basketball, and while he says he always hopes to play as much as he can, his love for IU and just being part of the program is the true dream come true.
In that time of waiting, it's really been great for me in terms of my faith and just growing closer to God and trusting Him and His timing. But I think just really coming to work every day and understanding, like, me just putting this jersey on for practice even is more than a dream come true, and it's what I've wanted to do since I was, first touching the basketball. So just trusting God and loving my teammates in this jersey and this school.
The hometown kid. Now it's time for Ask the Commissioner. Each week we take one of your questions to IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig and bring you his answer. Here's this week's question. What are you most looking forward to as NBA All-Star Weekend comes to Indianapolis?
Well, I think Indianapolis, and especially for years and years with the leadership of Mr. Morris and others in the Convention and Visitors Bureau and the Sports Corp and the Pacers and the Fever and Pacer Sports Entertainment, they have made this city a destination city when it comes to sport. And what I'm most excited about is, first of all, the NBA All-Star Game is just a phenomenal event. But it's a chance for Indianapolis to show off how good we are. They still rave about the Super Bowl that was here many years ago, and we're going to have some NCAA tournaments here. And this All-Star Game is no different. The best foot will be forward, and Indianapolis will show the world what an incredible sports capital we are here in the Midwest, the great United States, and this great state of Indiana.
Indy is going to crush it this week. Knows how to host big events. Now it's time to take a look at our play of the week. Each week we feature one of the top plays from the world of high school sports in Central Indiana. Plus, we want you to get involved, so send us your plays on social media. But first, here's this week's top play. Lawrence North hosting Ben Davis. Kobe Bowles just inside half court, beats the buzzer at the end of the third quarter. There it is again. However, Ben Davis gets the last laugh as the Giants beat the Wildcats. Our crews see a lot of great action, but we want to see your best plays every week as well, so send them our way. And don't forget to vote for the Zone Basketball Player of the Week. Here are this week's nominees: Ben Davis's KJ Wyndham, Rebuff's Evan Haywood, Joey Schmitz from Center Grove, and Jake Mosman of Greenwood. Voting on WishTV.com is open through tomorrow afternoon, and we'll announce the winner on The Zone tomorrow night at 11:08. Remember, MyIndyTV is your local home for high school sports. Coming up tomorrow night, we've got a good one in the MIC as Pike goes on the road for a matchup with Lawrence North. The Wildcats clinch a share of the conference title with a victory. You can see all the action live on MyIndyTV tomorrow, beginning at 7:30. And it will be a big night of high school basketball action across Central Indiana. We'll have all the scores and highlights in The Zone tomorrow night. Here's a look at some of the games we'll be covering tomorrow on The Zone. Cathedral taking on Ben Davis. Avon battling Noblesville. Brownsburg, tough test against HSE. Fishers against Zionsville. And then Franklin Central versus Westfield. Great slate of games tomorrow night on The Zone. That's going to do it for the Zone Extra. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to tune in again next Thursday night for a brand new episode. And we'll see you tomorrow night, 11:08 for The Zone. For even more sports coverage, log on to WishTV.com. Have a great night.